The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, record. Do you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Let's Up Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check up at Let's Up Stores on all our social media platforms. Let's Up, craft your own footprints.
The alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this edition of the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. Today is the 18th of July, 2023. We are taking the year so fast. Maniriza nnyo mwenna abasinzidde okubanga mutulaba wonna musinzidde enkya y'olunaku olwaleero nnaku z'omwezi 18 omwezi tuli mu Gwakasambula omwaka 2023. Mbaniriza nnyo mwebali eddala okubanga mutweyunzeeko enkya y'olunaku olwaleero ate na buli lunaku mwebali eddala okubanga mutulaba ne musindika messages zammwe ne mukomentinga ate tukitwala nga kintu kitono kintu kibeera kyamaanyi era buli lunaku tuba twagala tubeebaze era tubalage nti omulimu gumukola mulimu gw'amaanyi era mu luzungu tugamba omulimu guli valued. So thank you so much for tuning in each and every day. Amanya nze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga ndi munnamawulire wano ku Digitalk TV ndi muweereza era ffe twasalawo tukyuse engeri gye mufunamu amawulire nga tukkiriza nti omunnayuganda yenna asobola okuba ng'afuna amawulire ng'agafunira wonna w'aba ali naddala kugira emikutu emipya gye baatuleetera emikutu egya Facebook gimukwanira wala Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Ffe tusuubira nti wonna w'oba oli tusobola okuba nga tukubulira. So enkya y'olunaku olwaleero twatuuse dda tugenda kuba nga tunyumyamu nawe paka ssaawa 4 ez'okumakya. Olunaku olwaleero tugenda kuba nno nga twogera mu bintu bya art industry oba ebintu by'emizannyo ebyo art, mulimu music, mulimu dance, mulimu drama, ebintu bibeera it's a complete package. So olunaku olwaleero tugenda kuba nga tulaba ebintu bino bisobola bitya okuba nga byinfluencinga obukulembeze obulungi, oba tusobola tutya okubikozesa tusobola okuba nga tuleetawo obukulembeze oba gavumenti ennungi oba governance generally ennungi esobola okuba nga eyamba buli munnayuganda omuzungu kyatera okuyita equitable social change. So olunaku olwaleero we're going to be looking at the role of art in what we look at good governance, especially in our country, in our continent, Africa, where the art industry has really not been something that many people have prioritized. So olunaku olwaleero nina omwami Wabwire bamuyita Wabwire Joseph Ian ono ye executive art director wa hub bagiyita KQ Hub Africa. Tugenda kuba tunyumyamu naye emboozi ezo paka ssaawa 4 ne Farida ajja kunneegattako maaso kaawo atuwenga tunyuma naye mwenna mwebali eddala mu abatulabira emitala w'amayanja mwebali eddala okubanga mutulaba abali mu Dubai abali Qatar mwebali eddala nyina mukwano gwange bamuyita Winnie ali Saudi Arabia n'omukyala Shira Olga ali Saudi Arabia batera nnyo okubanga batulaba so mbatumidde nnyo nammwe abatulabira Bulaaya mwebali eddala tulina mukwano gwaffe ali sides e Australia abatulaba wali ali Canada mwebali eddala bintu bino tubitwala nga bintu by'amaanyi. It's not something that we take lightly. So munzikirize nyingireko ko mawulire agabadde gye mutabadde abingi ebibadde bigenda maaso olunaku lw'eggulo era paka olunaku olwaleero ensonga ya accident zeeyongeredde ddala kantandikire ddala awo olunaku olw'ejjo wali mu district y'e Kagadi ekirukululano baloole yabadde eva sides e Sudan ng'egenda e Congo sides awali e Kagadi yatomedde taxi nemalawo abantu 17 according to reports zetwakafunako abantu 17 be bafiiridde mu njego eno. Poliisi egamba akabenje kano kavudde ku kudduka endiima oba omuzungu kyasobola ogamba overspeeding. Omusajja yadde avuga loole eyo teyasobodde kubanga asiba so yadde alina wakyamira o sharp corner mu Kagadi district n'asobola okubanga atomera taxi n'agimalawo abantu 17 bweddu. Era olunaku lw'eggulo wennyini awe Kagadi wabaddewo okwekalakaasa ng'abantu be balaga obutali mu mativu bwabwe eri gavumenti oluvannyuma lw'abantu baabwe okufa mu ngeri bwetyo ate nga sigwe mulundi ogusookedde ddala accident ez'ekika kino okubanga zibeerawo. So abantu beeyo tebakirabyemu buzibu kubanga balaga obutali mu mativu bwabwe naye poliisi yavuddewo mangu nesobola okubangiriza embeera mu nteeko naye ng'abantu bo 17 bafiiridde mu njego eno eyabadde wali e Kagadi district. Kino nno kize mu kaseera nga accident zibadde zeeyongedde mu makubo ag'enjawulo mu ggwanga. Twabaddeko wali accident yabadde eddokolera waliwo taxi eyagudde omuntu omu ye yafiiriddemu awo. Twabaddeko ne accident nyingi ne mu sabbiiti eyo ne mu weekend nazoogeddeko olunaku lw'eggulo. So ekizibu kya accident kyeyongeredde ddala mu ggwanga era ndooza mujjukira n'emabegako omwami Apollo gwe mumanyi nnyo nga Amponyo Omugagga naye yafiiridde mu nsonga za kabenje. So ndooza poliisi simanyi kyegenda kubanga ekola okubanga embeera eno egiza mu nteeko naye gwegwo gwabwe gwe balina okubanga bakola okulaba nga eggwanga lyaffe litebenkera mirembe. Munzikirize ngendeko mu mawulire amalala era ndooza mujjukira lwe ebibaliwo ebibaali basudde naddala mu districts ezo eziri kumpi ne border districts z'e Kasese n'ezeetoolodde awo nga bino ebipapula bibakuntumye biraga nti ADF egenda kusigala ng'ekola olumbaganyi eri abantu. In fact nebyo ebipapula twabirabako ne mu district ye Fort Portal naye poliisi yo yatandikirawo n'okubanga enoonyereza era abantu ndooza 5 be bakwatiddwa ku nsonga eno yennyini. Poliisi ebakutte basobole okubanga bagiyambako mu kunoonyereza baani abo abawandiika ebipapula ebyo ate abalina links ki eri ekitongole kino ekyabayeekera ekya ADF. Kino nno kituuseewo nga omwezi gumu emabega twalaba okufa kw'abaana naddala wali mu ssomero erya Rubireha High School mu district ya Kasese abaana 37 be bafiira mu njego eyo n'abantu abaali ku kyalo ekyo nabo abantu abalala 6 kwegamba toto yali abantu namba 3 be bafiira mu bulumbaganyi obwo obwali wali mu Kasese district. So poliisi n'amagye bakola buli kimu kye basobola okubanga banoonyereza ku nsonga zino era abantu 5 bo bamaze dde okubanga bakwatibwa mu mbeera eyo yennyini. Wetukomawo wano e Kampala amawulire tegaliisa nakabululu. Kizibu kyabaddewo nti essomero lya Buka Primary School ne Naalya SS wali ekyengera in fact ebeera Wakiso teba Kampala. Amasomero ago gakutte omuliro olunaku lw'eggulo. Ekirungi ekiriwo mbu tewali muntu yenna yasobodde kubanga afuna obuvune oba n'asobola okubanga afiira mu njego eno naye kyannaku nti ebintu by'abayizi ebingi byasobodde okubanga bitokomoka mu muliro era byaweddewo ddala. So kyetuweebuuza kiki ekyaviiriddeko guno omuliro ne poliisi yennyini etandise okubanga enoonyereza ejja kubanga etubuulira naddala kiki kyennyini ekyaleetedde omuliro guno okubaawo naye era mukimanyi nti nno si gwe mulundi ogusoose ng'omuliro gwaka ne gukwata amasomero gano ag'enjawulo. Ndooza mujjukira essomero ery'emukono ery'abamuzibe era nalyo lyennyini yakwata omuliro paka saawa zino tetunafuna ripooti eyo ani yali yakuma omuliro ogwo. Essomero wali ekawaala erya Good Times nayo ndooza mujjukira emabegako awo nalyo lyakwata omuliro poliisi tennaba kuba ng'evaayo okutubuulira kiki kyennyini kyeri mu kukolera ku nsonga eno yennyini. Mukyali ku Digitalk TV eddakiika ndaba ziri 12 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya. Tukyali mu mawulire ge bayita the Mighty Global News Updates. Tukubuulira kiki ekiba kigenda mu maaso mu ggwanga ne wabweru w'eggwanga. Tugende ku wali e Kasanda era nawo mawulire si malungi. Waliwo omwami eyatemeddwa mu mutwe, yabadde muvuzi wa lukululano baloole, bamuteeze ne bamukuba ne bamutema omutwe era omwami ono yafudde. Oluvannyuma emmotoka ye yatwaliddwa. Waliwo yadde atambula passerby n'asobola okuba nga alaba omusajja ono oba omulambo gw'omusajja ono era yayise mangu abantu b'oku kyalo basobole okuba nga beerabirako. So obumenyi bw'amateeka tebuli mu Central Region yokka oba mu urban centers, naye n'ennaku zino butandise okuba nga bweyongera nnyo ne mu district ezekubidde Kampala oba eziri wabweru wa Kampala. So byebyo era poliisi yamaze dde okuba nga ejjawo omulambo guno era bajja kuba nga bakola postmortem. Banaatubuulira biki byennyini kyaleetedde omwami ono oba kutema kwa mutwe oba waliwo n'ekirala, naye nga wetwogerera ye emmotoka ye naye yatwaliddwa eyo loole gy'adde avuga omwami ono era ndowooza poliisi egenda kuba nga enoonyereza ku nsonga ezo zennyini. Era nga tukyali mu districts endala wali tugendeko mu Rwampara district. Rwampara waliyo abantu 15 abakakasiddwa nti bo baatolose okuva mu poliisi yeeyo. Poliisi z'e Rwampara abantu 15 bo baatoloseeyo mu mbeera eyo. Poliisi egamba nti kirabika baasimye ekisenge mwe baadde bali mu kaduukulu kaabwe emabega ne bajjawo amabulooka abantu 15 ne basobola okuba nga batoloka. Kuba n'okuliko abaakwatiddwa ku lw'obubbi, waliwo abalala ku lw'obutemu, mulimu n'abalala aba defilement oba okitegeera okweyisa mu mbeera bwe zityo. So rape kwegamba bangi bamaze dde okuba nga batoloka, naye poliisi ekakasizza nti egenda kuba nga ebanoonyereza ebalinnye kagere esobole okuba nga ebazza emabega w'emitayimbwa gye basaana okuba nga babeera mu mbeera eyo yennyini. Embaale eri waliwo ali mu kupookya n'ebiwundu era ali ku ddwaliro ly'Embaale. Ono agamba yakubiddwa essasi, ndowooza waliwo bannamagye oba bakwata mmundu be tutannaba kuba nga tukakasa oba badde bannamagye badde ba poliisi naye bamukubye essasi mu butuuliro. So naye ali apookya na biwundu mu district y'Embaale. Kyannaku nnyo. Omwami ono bamuyita Wangala. Wangala yakubiddwa essasi. Yagambye poliisi emuyambe esobole okuba nga emuliyirira oba nga emusobola okumuyambako mu mbeera yonna gy'eba esobodde, kubanga kirabika abakuumaddembe be basobodde okuba nga bamutuusaako kino mu mbeera nyini. E Masaka waliyo babiri abakwatiddwa lwakutta muntu atalina waabeera oba kye bayita homeless man. E Masaka waliwo abakwatiddwa mu mbeera eyo yennyini. Era we tugendako wali mu story ye Kenya, ndowooza mujjukira Pastor Mackenzie. Oyo nno pastor yali wali mu ggwanga erya Kenya, yagamba abantu basiibe bajja kusobola okuba nga balaba Katonda. Bagenda n'embibira around there in Kenya, abantu abasukka mu 200 ne beewaayo n'abaana baabwe basobole okuba nga basiiba balabe Katonda. Bano nno ndowooza death toll oba abantu abakafiira mu mbeera eyo bamaze okuba nga bayita ku bantu 4. Kaliti eyo bannange yatwala abantu bangi. Ndowooza mujjukira story ezaali ziva sides eyo nti abantu abangi abagenda ne basobola okuba nga beerumya enjala beesitavinga nga bagamba bagenda kulaba Katonda. So Pastor Mackenzie yali abagambye. Poliisi y'e Kenya ekakasizza nti abantu kati basusse 400 people abakafiira mu njege eno yennyini. Ye Pastor Mackenzie yamala dda okuba nga akwatibwa ababyokwerinda by'e Kenya era bakakasa nti bamala okuba nga bamuzza emabega w'emitayimbwa, naye ekyebuuzibwa abantu abo 400 bonna bannange ng'oba okoze bubi nnyo. Ndaba akadde kaakano katuweddeko ku ddakiika zino 17 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya. Nze Edgar Matthew Karuhanga okuba nga mbaweereza. Nja kumalizaako ne story wano according to waliwo organization wano yakoze training Save a Life Uganda bakakasizza nti no osobola okuba nga wettanira vocational vocational training so bagenze nga batraining abantu abenjawulo mu district mu division y'Embuya oba LC y'Embuya Mutungu and around there Nakawa kino kikyagenda mu maaso mu abagala okuba nga muyiga ebintu eby'emikono bali stationed around there. I think today bagenda kubeera mu Nakawa district mu Nakawa division bagenda okuba nga basimba amakanda nga bayigiriza abantu abenjawulo ku ngeri ki gy'osobola okuba nga oweekoleramu akasente ng'okozesa emikono gyo maybe osobola okuba nga omanyi okuzimba osobola okuluka emikeeka osobola okukola tailoring kwegamba abantu abenjawulo babayigiriza wali kibiina kya Nakyewa gwayagala okuba nga oyagala okuyiga mpola mpola osobola okugenda wali oba osobola okutusindika wano ka direct message n'enkuwa details ez'enjawulo gwayagala okuba nga oyiga bine eby'omukono bannange muzikirize tuwumulemu ku ddakiika zino 18 ezakayita ku ssaawa 2 ez'okumakya tugenda kuba nga tuwumulamu etukomawo omwami Wabwire Joseph Ian yamaze dde okuba nga atuuka wano tugenda kuba nga tunyumya the role of art or the art industry in creating good governance or having good governance in Uganda kyetugenda okuba nga tusinziirako nnyo olunaku luno olwaleero nze Edgar, let's go for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings. Hi Rogers, can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Les Up Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 080090. You can also check up at Les Up Stores on all our social media platforms. Les Up, craft your own footprints.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Mwasize mutya encha y'olunaku olwaleero nze Edgar Matthew Karohanga nakuza omwezi 18 nabagambidde omwezi gwa Kasambula omwaka 2023 mwebali eddala kubanga mutwekumiddeko nabasuubiza gentleman okuva wali mu KQ Africa, in fact executive art director w'ekifo ekyo Wabwire Joseph Ian. We're going to be touching base on really the role of the art industry. That when we talk about the art industry, we're talking about things like music, we're talking about dancers, we're talking about drama, actors. So what is their role in creating a safe space for good governance, or creating civic awareness at the end of the day? So that is the main topical discussion for the day. But before I even welcome our guest, allow me welcome Miss Farida Bikobere, the Princess of Bunyoro. Did I address you right?
You did.
Did I leave some bitiwa? If I did, I can rewind and I say, and I don't know, I call you the lawyer, the teacher, the activist, the journalist. Always happy and a privilege having you on the show.
Thank you, Edgar. Good
morning.
Good morning, everyone. I am Farida Bikobere. I am here today with Edgar Matthew Karohanga and Mr. Wabwire Joseph Ian. He is the creative director at KQ Hub Africa. What did I do? When was it found? So we are going to do Kasavu Kanyama English and Luganda because when tunakuba nnyo Luzungu abo Luganda tujja kubagoba ate bwe tukole nnyo Luganda guest waffe tali comfortable no Luganda lumumenyamu koma nnyo Luganda luningeje lujja ne lumenya naddala totera kulwogera, which is okay, it is understandable. So tujja kubanga ate tukola Kasavu Kanyama munange oli wandika poems ozanya mizanyo. Do you want to know where you can start from? Eno tunoonya abantu abali mukola ebintu ng'ebyo ne tubaleeta waneno. They explain what they are doing. Twagala tumanye art ono ayambako ki ku developing ensi yo gy'oba olivingilamu. So ngenda kukubiriza nnyo, we are live on Facebook, genda otunoonyeeko Alternative Uganda oba Digitalk TV. Munnange comment section, take our comment yo, sharing, invite your friends kubanga this is an opportunity. Wandibanga otudde ku talent yo kubanga tomanyi wa wakutandikira. So this is an opportunity for you. Beerako tumbula ne neighbor awulire tujja kubanga ate tunyumyamu bulungi nnyo. Njagala okubanga nkuwa kooti yange y'olunaku olwaleero before Edgar brings in the guest. Our quote of the day is, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up.
Okay.
Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. Like abaganda we bagamba nti ennyanja etta magoba. So munnange nti omuntu oba onootera okusoma kano gannaye bukyanga nkola ebintu biganya okuyitamu no giving up naye ng'obuzaako just a few steps to success oluggi luggule nogamba nkooye nnyo naye ng'olugendo lw'obadde otambudde lwe lunene nnyo so kyova olaba bagamba bwebanga olina option your option shouldn't be quitting, it should be something else, but quitting is not an option.
Exactly. Because quitters never win. That is when you said, okay, chiganye. So you can never win when, when you say. And that I also concur with you when you say that towards the end, that is when it feels like most tiring. And many people, by the way, are poeta or yininga. Ngari kama kama singa we yonge deda chikendale you were good to go. Na ye one word for the wise is enough. Mr. Wabwire Joseph, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling cozy. Alternative Digital Talk Studios.
Wow. Happy to have you. Is this your first time here?
Yes, this is my first time, but it's not my first time engaging with the work, the amazing work that the Alternative does.
Wow, thank you.
That's good.
Yes.
Just please introduce yourself to the viewer out there.
Hello, thank you very much for joining us. My name is Wabwire Joseph. I'm the Executive Art Director at KQ Hub Africa. KQ Hub Africa is an arts and culture organization and studio based here in Uganda, Kampala. We believe in working with the artist community to inspire change, but also push for civic change in our communities. Because the power that artists have is unimaginable.
Exactly.
Artists represent the future. They speak about stories that matter to us, and they are the mirror of what society should look like.
Exactly.
So that is why we picked a keen interest in empowering them, but also showing them okubalaga nti ebitone bibalina basobola bikozesa bulungi ne bapushing ebintu ebikulu mu society.
Do you think over the gap, has there been a gap between, you know, the artists knowing their value and their impact really and their purpose? And how big is this gap?
I think artists bamanyi ekyokukola. Just lwakuba tetuba empowerinze netumanya omugaso gwabwe mu society. Owulira society gye tulimu weeraba omuntu nti no poeti, weeraba omuntu dancer, baba mulaba bubi. So I think the first thing we need to change is the perception community gyeyina ku bantu abakola ebintu ebiti. Owulira abantu bano baba n'ekitone kye baabawa Mukama kye yabawa. Mukama n'abagamba mufunye ekitone kino naye mukikozese mupushinge social issues. Owulira kyova olaba if you notice most of the time for abantu bwe tuba twetaaga peace of mind we resort to music.
Exactly.
We resort to entertainment. We actually, the largest percentage of our time as human beings, tuba twetaaga bano abantu ne batuteeka mu mood. So bano abantu balina influence y'amaanyi kubanga nze nkubuulira wodda awaka ky'osooka oteekako ye music. Kati ekyo kitegeeza nti bano ba artist we tuba empowering ne baleeta music omulungi to pushing as a society nakuwa oba suffering from mental health nakutereeza waliwo omusajja bamuyita Shakespeare yagamba music is the anthem, you know, of life. Yagamba nti twetaaga music making sure nti n'obulamu tubutambuza, but not just music, dance, photography, film, theater, you know. So these are the kinds of people we work with, and I think we just need to change the perception to see the power of these people. In countries that are developed, I've had the pleasure to travel. There is a dedicated ministry to culture, to the arts industry.
When in Nigeria they even have a ministry of music. Really, why won't they talk to the African continent? Rwachi Davido takole yimba nange. Rwachi bana boy takole tajuze arena.
Nigeria
So ekyo kiraga nti we empowering aba artists ne tubateeka ku mwanjo, we put them at the start,
tubasosowaza
tuba power of making sure nti no batuyamba okufuna balance mu bulamu buno bwe tulimu. So ye emirimu gye tukola ffe nga ffe, that's the kind of work we do, to make sure that we nurture the artists, to also change the perception of what people think about the artist.
Yeah, because abantu bamanya abayimbi especially kan nemegamba bannabitone byonna, but the artists, the musicians, first of all bagamba bayayi, kisoka nti abayimbi bayaye, abayimbi bakozesa ebiragalagala, abayimbi bonoona abaana baabwe amazina ge bazina mu TVs. You've had these stereotypes really.
Ezo stereotypes zibeerawo, owulira, naye nze njagala kubuulira kati nti abayimbi balina power gye tutasobola. Olaba omuyimbi nga Alien Skin weyavaayo, he has a very big following. Kati imagine weempawaringa omuyimbi ng'oyo, n'omuempawaringa n'omulaga nti ennyimba zo zirina okubeera about social change oba civic change. Omanyi influence yasobola okuleeta owulira. So kye tulina okukola, tetulina balaba, they are human beings nga ffe, ffenna tusobya, owulira. Naye nabo bayita they pass through a lot of challenges to make it where they that's why sometimes babiranga ffe tebali different. Well, now we're depressed. Nange mbeera depressed, nawe nobeera depressed, owulira, because society tebe embracing, owulira. Naye ng'ate omulimo gwe balaba nga it's a calling, owulira. Kuba teri muntu ayagala kukola kintu kyalaba nti tekikola kintu. Naye influence yo tukkirize tugaane balina influence y'amaanyi. Kitegeeza it is a ripe place to invest in, not just invest in but to empower. Kyova olaba kati
bw'obanga oyagala social change,
woba oyagala social change, welaba how jagendako mu politics, because of the influence and the power of music, of the music industry, for instance. There has been a much investment from both sides. The government has realized that for us to counter the forces of the current,
we have to invest in this industry.
We have to invest in this industry. That's why there's a strategic investment. If you hear musicians meeting,
Music Federation,
federations, because they have realized nti wetuba twetaaga na abaana abavubuka, and they are the majority in this country.
Tulina bakwatira mu kintu kye baagala.
Tulina bakwatira mu kintu kye baagala. That's why there's an investment.
Do you think, really, you've talked about investment and you bring a very good, important question. It wasn't even on the running order, but let's bring it. You talk about the investment. We took to invest in the new music vis-a-vis the amount of potential we have. Because I want to tell you, recently, tried to Kolanga Entertainment Show, and the number of artists this country has. I think you walk 3 blocks and there is an artist.
True.
Genda wale machindi, if you've been around that area. Buli woita, genda ikamocha. There are many artists. People believe they can sing. Do you think tukoze enough okubanga bana tuba supporting, not just you as KQ, but really as the country, as Uganda? Have we supported these young people?
For me, I think
what can we do?
There are very many independent arts organizations and institutions that are balikuwa platform ba artists bali be embracing babagamba muje, owulira. Naye nga government tekoze kinene nnyo empowering aba artists. Tulina okubeera ne what we call cultural impact fund, nga eva mu ministry, nga eyo fund tugiteeka mu bantu abakola, ba poets, ba musicians, ba filmmakers, nga tubawa, because they are an incense to this economy, owulira. They just sikubawola kyokka, tusobola n'obawa grants, owulira, ne bakola projects eziri developmental, owulira. Kubanga wogenda mu communities eziri developed, they have dedicated arts councils, they have dedicated arts ministries as investing directly in creative industries, because bategeera nti the power of imagination, the power of people thinking alternatively is very important to create dialogue and a conversation and social cohesion. Kyova bateeka mu sente mu bintu nga drama and theatre, wano tulina theatre emu, Uganda National Theatre. Naye tubeera tutya nga tulina just one theatre that that is covering the whole country. Lwaki tetwempowering local communities ne zigulawo local theaters.
Nogamba abantu tugeze West muli district erimu nga theater nti abaana bamuno abakola akatimba bajja kukolera nga wano.
Webale. Netu omukyala ayogedde ekintu ekituufu. Netu welcoming abano abatali e Kampala naye nga bali Mbarara, bali Busia.
Kubanga naye gyali waliwo ba artists abali ba actors.
Nabo ne bakwesa theaters no. So we need to invest in community theaters. That is one. The second thing, we need to invest in building the capacities of the music sector so that we build their economic empowerment, because that's the challenge.
How chinyonyole bulungi kuba oyongedde speed.
The reason why we shun artists is because tebayina skills ezibayamba okumeka sure nti no ba contributing directly to the economy. Olaba artist ogamba abo ba failure. Never artists ba failure. Just challenge yawe is ba kitone naye tebana kubeera empowered mu managing finances zaabwe. Tebana kuba empowered mu kulowooza about the future of their businesses. So to building a capacity, so let's do capacity building workshops where we tell them, this is how you market yourself. This is what brand image means. This is what contributing, registering your company, which you know we call by poets, by fashion designers, by filmmakers. Do you know the power of art? My brother, the art has a lot of power. Just about perception which we need to change.
Ekyagaanidde ddala kubanga yo society ekyali awo erimu playing around it. People think abo bali mu kusaaga abayayi. You only talk about the money. These guys have gotten money also. Mu baana abakoze abayimbi, there are people who have made money.
The creative industries have the power to power our country if we invest in them. Because artists are people who put up shows and many people go and watch them. That is all money coming into the economy.
Kituufu ekyo. Ate n'emisolo kati bagibajjako ng'okoze concert zammwe.
So industry tulina investing but we also need to nurture and build the capacities of the industry to be able to accommodate more people in, you know. Not all of us will be lawyers, not all of us will be journalists, not all of us will be doctors, you know. We have to open up new other avenues. That means putting investment, to take our investment man, making sure until no bino ebintu byetulaba nti no ebitone bino nze nina ka sister kange kangamba nze sagala kubeera doctor, sagala kubeera lawyer, njagala kubeera fashion, mpulira byenjagala.
Fashion designer.
Mpulira byenjagala. So let's nurture that part. Let's not try to.
By the way, abayezudde dda already.
Abantu bezuula naye lwakuba wano kye tulina okulwanisa ate ffe kye tulwanisa nga KQ Hub tugamba we need to change the perception of the population about the creative industries and the artists. The first step we need to do that is, so every day when we are out in the field, we are putting together dialogues and conversations tuleeta abantu mu communities ne tubagamba this is the power of art, you know. Because all of us, when we leave this place, we are going to go back to Guleka Radio to take eco music. All of us tulaba film. Film zino zirina ebintu bye zituyigiriza. All of us tugenda ne tugula products za fashion products. So we need to empower bana abantu abakola ebintu webiti. Crafts. We tuba tetulina bantu nga abasobola okubuildinga ekifo kino ne bakitereeza. How do we beautify our places?
Kibeera obwekito kuba naye kati abazadde b'ennaku zino mugamba njagala kudda mu fashion and design ng'akulabira ddala wafunye mu P7 wafuna 4 out of 4 aggregates. Senior fona okulira ddala bulungi nnyo kati batandika okugamba agambagezi gonna ogatwale mu kusala engoye.
Those things.
So the perception really needs to be worked on. No motu yalebuziza mumaze ebbanga ki in existence?
Ffe tumaze emyaka 8 tukola naye, that is when we were registered. Naye tubaddewo for a long time even before. So we've been around for like 15 years. Because I started KQ Hub Africa when I just left university. Ate nze nali frustrated because nze saayagala kukola mateeka. Nze nayagala na gravitatinga nnyo before ebyabantu abakola like school of industrial art oli nagendanga nnyo ne participating mu bintu nga fashion shows ebyo Mr. University ebintu ebityo nze na gravitating nnyo mu bintu ebityo naye nengamba kankozesa skills zange nasoma amateeka ne mmalako ne nfuna degree nesitagenda kukola practicing certificate era nze nsobola ofuna omulimu gwonna mu managerial naye nengamba skills zino zensomye mu mateeka nzikozesa ki okubuildinga mikwano gyange abali mu creative industries kubanga nalaba nga gap y'amaanyi. First of all balina okulowooza about copyrights. How do we protect our creations? That is a challenge. Second of all, how do we market ourselves and build our brand image as artists? Third of all, how do we change the perception that the community has about the industry? Fourth, how do we use the art and culture as a tool for social economic transformation? How do we use it for civic change? You know, because you see the emergence of people like Bobby Wine has allowed a number of young people to be interested in what matters to them, and that is governance.
Exactly.
Whatever.
In that time, about music around that civic change and civic awareness.
So civic awareness, you can imagine how much it reached. Omanyi bano politicians bano betulaba ate banyambala koti tebatuuka bantu we bati music atuuka eri Karamoja wali wansi
people should understand it has not just started happening today. Even in the past this has happened. The Lucky Dubes, when they're fighting apartheid, they have always sung about that. The Bob Marleys. So it has always been, music has never been just music. To people who understand music, it has been used as a tool for revolution, for social change, you know, for wealth creation. So there is more to music than just that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how has the journey been for the past 15 years?
For the past 15 years, we've, you know, like the Tewaliwo investment man in the creative industries. So tubadde tufuna aba partners abali international development partners ne bajja ne tukwatira wamu netugamba tulina okubuildinga creative industries. So we've worked with a number of partners. Tukola ne British Council, tukola ne European Union, tukola ne Open Society Foundations, tukola ne organizations nga Africa Europe Foundation, tukola ne local organizations wano theater, but small theater productions ziri wano, tukola ne national theater, tukola ne government nayo, because you need the government as well, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, to invest in nnyo mu research of understanding no kumapping cultural sector eya wano owulira. And for instance COVID wejja twagamba what was the effect of the pandemic on the creative sector. So twakolayo research eyo. Sawa zino tuli ku investing mu capacity building sessions ezaba artists obayigiriza ebintu nga marketing, kubayigiriza ebintu nga how to use your art for socio-economic transformation and civic change. Sawa zino tuli kukola empowering young people, especially abali mu bintu nga bino music, poetry and all that, to be putting at the forefront of civic change in this country. So tuli batambuza tubatwala Eastern Uganda, tubatwala Western, Northern Uganda, to make sure that we allow them to have a platform, you know. But the most important thing is they're not just singing music for music's sake. We are deliberately empowering them to come up with pieces as if focusing on civic issues. What is good governance for us? What are the dangers of corruption?
So they are tailoring their art to something that is important, or there is purpose to it. Because when we check the music, abana bakuba ekidandali, temuli message, tewali kyekiraga naye maybe it may be a good song naye nga waliwo ekibulamu. So mubataddemu ka direction nako.
To deliberately to be empowering and to bagamba nti your art form, be it dance, be it fashion, be it music, be it film, can be used for a good cause. So how do we nurture you? How do we help you to come up with the pieces that reflect society? What are the issues in society? There's climate change. How do you come up with a poetry piece that empowers, about climate change? If you're a fashion designer, what contribution do you have to sustainable fashion practices? If you're a musician, now that we're talking about good governance, we're talking about human rights, how do you use your music to push for these kinds of issues that matter to the people? You know, if you're a dancer, how do you come up with dance choreographies and dance performances that reflect the times? This is our work, and this is what
that's a tedious work, because let me just ask you this: how has it been for the past 15 years and more? How has it been working with these young people, really? Because you know, we have a challenge of people thinking in a straight line, and we have a challenge when someone knows this, because watogenda gamboli tulowooza mu kifo ky'okuyimba ku laavu waliwo topic endala ey'amakulu eri more impactful. Maybe can you do just maybe a song that is talking about what is working in society? Really, can you just do a song about climate change, as you've said? So how has it been working with these young people who may have rigid minds, and I think you've come across that? How has the process been for you?
I mean, an artist has to be an artist. But because of how society perceives artists and what society consumes here, apparently we have a love problem in this country.
Exactly, love hangover. Yes, it's a love hangover.
Apparently, we love hangover. Abantu abasinga bali mu breakups.
Yes.
And so we need this kind of music to help them
Resonate, exactly.
So we've made the artist become a love musician.
Exactly.
And also have hope that I can find love.
But there are those that don't even have hope. All their songs are hopeless.
Thank you. So recently...
So Edgar, why do I feel like you are talking about yourself?
I'm not an artist.
I'm trying to love hangover, bali waka, babalese, abamba bamenye emitima kati music ono abayamba neba healing, which is not a problem. It is good because it gives them balance on things ebimattaringa. Nenze nsubira nti waliwo ebintu bingi bye tusobola okufocusingako, and we can respect an artist not just because he sings about love, but because he thinks that his music comes from a point of understanding the community's needs. The community, you know, is affected by disasters. This is how we call on the leaders to
work on
that. Community is affected by potholes. This is how we empower this community. We come up with participatory legislative theater productions. As they take actors in a position of leadership, this is the problem. We're inviting our key government stakeholders, community leaders. It's actually important for us to come up. If we did this, change would happen, and that is what I believe in. So, regardless of the challenges that we have, and we are calling on other arts organizations or any organization in this country to empower and put emphasis on the power of arts to push for social change in our communities. That's
thank you so much, by the way, for that submission. It has really been eye-opening for me, and I think for artists out there. But there are two because I want people to understand the challenges, how the process really is. Because there's someone who wants to be a Wabwire out there, by the way, because this TV is really watched by young people. Do you want to tell them about the process itself of building KQ Africa from scratch to where it is now, for the process of meeting these young people, working with them, working with partners, just to kubanyola omuntu aliyonga ayagala maybe to also have who has a vision like yourself, who would like to do something like you're doing. What should they know about the process, really?
I think it's understanding the role that you play in the ecosystem of life. And we always try to project that image as well. So if you want to be a journalist, you always push yourself in spaces where
you work towards that.
Exactly. So it might take a long time, but it's a short time, because that's the difference of 4 to 5 years if you're really, because you build the networks within, you know. So you start meeting people within your area. Then before you know, there's an opportunity here. Before you know, it may not be providing a lot. So I think consistency and perseverance and knowing what do you want. Sometimes,
your passions.
Sometimes I've realized that when agezangako okukola ebintu njagala kusurvivinga nenkola kino nenkola kiri nenva ku mulamwa fine kyampanga naye nalabanga there was always a big gap for me too waliwo ekintu kyokola ng'owulira wodde ewaka ne woba tebakusasudde we networks z'obuildings relationships z'okoze gwolaba zikutwala mu maaso. I think that is the most important thing. Kati industry eno nga nze najja mu arts industry nga industry terina sente owulira naye nagamba it is not about the money for me, it is about what role do I play to help my friends who are artists to see their role in this society. How do I help them change the perception of communities? Nentandikawo organization gyebayita KQ Hub Africa. Tugamba first of all tulina building a brand image y'aba artists. Second of all tulina building a capacities zaabo ku negotiating. Third of all tulina bateeka ku table nabo tubalage nti they have a role to play in socio-economic transformation. Third of all tulina bayamba so fe netukozesa skills zaffe eza lobbying netulobbyinga netufuna resources netuzinvestinga mu industries. So that is what we do, but it has been a long time, my brother. It's been and we have not yet reached there.
More than a decade.
We have not yet reached there, but what is important is we have amazing partners that understand our vision.
And I'm learning that it was never really about the money in the first place, but the money came along the way.
There's no money. We are just trying to.
No, there is money. Money has come.
The money is there.
So, okay, there was
money
no
that
money
is
in the
coming
start.
is put back into the work.
Exactly.
That we do,
but the money is there.
But
of course, we also empower ourselves as well, But I don't want us to focus so much
on the money,
because I've never been driven by money. Even though we make the monies come and we put them back to building these communities. You get the point?
Yes.
Of course, omuntu atuwulira agamba kati ogamba otya nti tewali sente ngate how is it economically viable?
It is a give and take. Otekamu n'ojjamu.
Yes. So I've actually put my savings into building this organization because sometimes the challenges are how do you maintain staff, our offices where we are, we have to pay the rent, we have to also do community reach outs, and this is all money, So we work with very amazing partners who believe in our vision. And I want to take this opportunity to thank them, for the work that they do in empowering the kind of work we do. We pass through a lot of challenges to make sure that we put these artists at the forefront. We pass through a lot of challenges to change community perceptions, to change the perception of our artists, to think of themselves as a public good. And now these people invest because this work matters to them.
Exactly.
Where government might not be able to reach, they reach. That is the work they do.
Many times, in fact, where government rarely even reaches, the working partners are always reaching. So we are going to go in for a break. When we come back, there's still many issues we need to touch base on. How are you guys actually doing this empowering itself? Are we managing the artists? Are we giving them cash? Are we giving them bonanza? Are we recording music for them? Are we recording for actors? So we want to understand how that phenomenon plays out for you guys, and maybe also touch base on more issues. The issue of copyright, still a big challenge today in the Ugandan society. How better can we address it? And many, many more issues. You can keep those comments. Exactly.
And the achievement.
Exactly. So keep on sending in those messages. We shall be reading them subsequently. I'm Edgar Matthew Karahanga, still with Wabwire Joseph Ian. He is the Executive Art Director for KQ Africa, KQ Hub Africa. So I still have Farida Bikomede as well. So let's go for a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
The Alternative Digitalk. real issues, real talk.
Looking for a pair of shoes? Let's Up Stores has a wide range of selection for unisex footwear. We have the best quality of all brands at pocket-friendly prices, and we make deliveries countrywide. Just place your order or reach us on 0772 08 0090. You can also check up at Let's Up Stores on all our social media platforms. Let's Up, craft your own footprints.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes, it can. Although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Are you craving for that special meal that will entice your taste buds and leave you with lasting, thrilling memories? Look no further. Spice Island Bulenga has got your answer. Natural, fresh and delicious juice, the best meals. Don't miss our daily specials from Monday to Sunday. Pizza Wednesday, Saturday Pizza Bonanza, you buy one and take two. Come dine with us and feel the experience. We are located at Prime Shopping Center in Bulenga, Mitiana Road. For inquiries, call us on 0704111720. Spice Island, we treat your cravings.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. My name is Edgar. Tuchali wano ku Digitalk TV program, The Mighty Drive. We are into the second and last hour of the show. Sawa sato ze nyini. Bibuzo ya mwebinji. I understand you are a graduate of law. How did art activism meet with the legal brains for sure? Why did you choose this path rather than going to court to defend people? Ebibuzo bikyali bingi oba otandike ku kibuzo ky'omukulu ono kye twatandikirako nga tunaingira mu discussion. Gambi, I understand you are a graduate of law. How did art activism meet with the legal brains for sure?
Yes, so for me, I believe that there are different approaches for activism. And we all have to use our skill set and learnings to push for this kind of change.
Yes,
I believe that there are people who have the power to do the litigation. and represent frontline activists. But I also believe that there are people who can empower the artist community to also push for civic change in our communities. That is good governance, human rights, corruption, and all these issues.
Yeah.
You know. So for me, deciding to take this path was looking at all the options and alternatives that are available and saying, this is the non-violent but also impactful way I can approach this. We all want to be lawyers. In the struggle for change, we have to make sure that we use all the arsenal that we have to make sure that we inspire change in our communities. Some people go into litigation and say, for me, I'll be a lawyer and I'll represent frontline activists.
Yeah.
Some people go into journalism and say, I'll bring these voices to the mainstream.
Exactly.
Some go into art and culture and say, I'll put together exhibitions, I'll put together poetry nights, I'll put together theater productions that impact, you know, and talk about civic issues and why it's important for us to reflect on those.
Yes.
So
that everybody is doing their best to build the nation.
Yes. So everyone has to play a part in building the nation. And I think we all can't be lawyers. We all can't be journalists. We build tuzimba.
Okay. Twagala tutunuulire.
Ninakwera akabuuzo ke kamu waliwo akabuuzo akasembezaayo. Yongedeko, why did you choose this path rather than going to court? Naye okazeemu. Then nagamba, when you talk of investing in art, what do you mean exactly? Do you identify talent like musicians and help them record their music, or chenyini chitwale tugenda okubuuza?
When I say investment in the arts industry or creative industries, I mean that these industries have the power to allow us to reimagine a future that we all want to live in. You know, so an investment in this work means investing in the capacities, because capacities means you're going to get researchers. These people need to research about the industry. What are the opportunities? What are the challenges? How do we come in? What are the interventions? The second thing is, if there's a capacity problem, you need to invest in that capacity. Of course, these people need a space to be able, an incubation space, to be able to be empowered and incubated to think about themselves as a public good. So that work is an investment. The other thing is an investment in their thinking, because we invest in the education sector, like we invest in other industries. The creative industries also need an investment. What I mean is that invest in opening up spaces for creative expression, you know, like theater places, galleries, you know, opera houses where we can experience this kind of art, you know. Invest in the socio-economic transformation of this sector, you know, and how this sector plays a role in pushing for good governance as well. So when we have more galleries, we'll experience more exhibitions, and we'll be able to tap into the power of this expression. When we invest, let's say, in the museums, more community museums, we'll keep our heritage intact. So people are able to experience heritage without necessarily going to the Uganda National Museum, but they can even go to, let's say, the Busia Community Museum, or let's say the Mbarara Community Museum, you know. So that is what I mean by an investment into the industry. But all these spaces allow us to tap into the expression that artists, because they are struggling with something they have to say, you know. I'll give you an example. We work with a collective of poets called Ladu Poets, they are thinking about ways in which they can use poetry to push for civic change. You know, so they are talking about issues around human rights, they're talking about issues around corruption, you know, and we are empowering them by offering them a space for them to express themselves. We work with a small gallery called the Zenson Art Space, founded by an artist called Zenson. You know, they put together exhibitions where they bring together visual artists who are painting about issues of community. They bring craft makers, you know, they offer them a space. So these are the kinds of investments we need to do, because this investment is space for people to express themselves.
Yes.
It is the capacity building for us to empower them to have brand image, marketing and all that. It is the policy, because for you to effect policy change, you need to have investment in the capacities and thinking of these people. So you make them, for instance, we have an exchange with an organization in the UK where we take artists to go to the UK for a residence like 1 month. And while they're basically thinking about what learnings can I get from the UK. So they visit museums in the UK, they visit concert houses in the UK, they visit all these places. When they come back, they're like, no, this needs to change. And I think that's what I mean by investment.
They even come back and replicate the things they have learned there.
Nagamba kirina kiraba naffe wantu Oh wow, that's good. Bana itwogera ku social change abantu abamu temubimanyi ogenda kutubuuza okozesa otyo omuyimbi okulaba nti corruption eggwa mu ggwanga oba okutulugunya abantu. Ffenna tumanyika akayimba ka Rema akagamba dembe ekigambo ekyo kinyuma era gwe kyewetaaga dembe lyabo tuze nayiga kuogera sayiga kuyimba naye nga yali ategeeza rights. So kakati naawe osobola okozesa talent yogwe nga gwe n'owandika poem talking about human rights kubanga yagamba kikuweebwa gwe teri alimenti kuwa ddembe ly'okwogera no ddembe lyabwe bange you have to express yourself. So ebintu ng'ebyo omukulu ono byagezaako kugamba nti we can use those other avenues okulaba nti ate nange tupushinga. So we really want to look at how has art helped to push good governance in Uganda. Oba mugenda gikozesa mutya okupushinga okulaba nga twachivinga good governance here in Uganda, because I don't think we really have it, but we need it.
Yes. So artists mirror the society we live in. You know, so they also contribute the social conversations that we need to have. You know, and that means
most of them are even the biggest drivers. What they talk about is what people will also talk about.
So if we work with them and invest in them, but not just invest in them, but we empower them to use their art for social and civic engagement, we are reaching a wider audience, because they also reach a wider audience. So how do we do it at KQ Hub?
Yes.
Having realized, for instance, the recent electoral process, we had one of the artists who put themselves as a presidential candidate, and that was Bobby Wine, a former musician turned now to a politician.
Yes.
You know. But one thing about his music, it has always been about the issues that people need to look into. You get the point? And so, because of his involvement in the political space, you know, allowed a number of young people, abana bangi abavubuka bagamba olaba omusajja
olaba Kyagulanyi
akikola naffe tusobola okikola. We can put ourselves to change. Era in the history of Uganda, if you look at the statistics, there were many young people that went and cast their ballots, both in the city center and also in the rural areas. So it means that the music that Bobby Wine sang spoke to them, you know. Bobby Wine might not be the best politician, you know, but we have other historical cases that we know of in different other countries. You've talked of Lucky Dube. Lucky Dube has been a forefront of what we call civil liberties. He's been advocating, before he died, he was advocating for these liberties of freedom, equality in our societies. And these are the musicians. We have
I can even give you an example.
Phile Bongole Lutaya, for instance, here in Uganda. Phile Bongole Lutaya reflected on issues around health, HIV, AIDS. He reflected on issues around governance. You know, his music was listened to. You know, we have poets as well. You know, poets like Kagai Peter here in Uganda. You know, who are talking about the civic issues, why we need to change the policies. You know, we have dancers like the people from Batalo East, who are coming up with dance theater productions that reflect a choreography of the times. We have artists like Zenson. Zenson is a visual artist, but he reflects on issues around political governance, civic change. And all these people are being appreciated. They are reaching wider audiences. So that is why Zendoza, we tu empowering abantu abatuuka abantu abangi ate tu listeninga n'omulimu gwe tuyina okukola. Where the media cannot reach a musician nga Sipapa, sorry, not Sipapa, musician nga Alien Skin atuukayo. Where a person dancer jatatuuka, a musician like Rema atuukayo. So tuleete bano ba musician tubateeke ku table tubagambe, what is your role in the new in governance? What is your role in a civic future that is equal for all of us? So that is our work, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, so is that like a campaign that is running?
Yes, so right now we are working on a 2-year project where we are trying to promote youth civic engagement through participatory creative arts and culture. So we are putting together dialogues, we're putting together conversations, we're doing podcasting. Okay. So tuina project jetu running egamba nti tulina okukozesa ebitone byaffe okuleeta enkyukakyuka mu Uganda. Owulira ekyo kitegeeza nti tukolagana ne ba artists ne tubatwala mu communities mu bitundu ebiri East Central naona ne tubawa platform ne bakola kye basobola ne tuba mentoring ne ba coming up ne pieces eziyamba ku reflecting bino ebintu. Owulira tulina dialogues oba tugambe emboozi zetutuuza netuyita abantu netunyumya nabyo ne tubabuuza kati gwe oli poet, what omulimu ki gw'olina, what is your role in pushing for change mu communities z'olina. Tulina podcasting kyogamba nti audio productions oba tukiyite radio tukola radio production eyamba nti etuuka abantu bangi. Tulina exhibitions hosting ku space yaffe where we invite stakeholders mu civil society, inviting about activists, inviting about artivists, because an artist is an activist. Yes. Netubagamba nti kati look at the exhibitions that are happening and what can you learn from these things. So that is what we are doing right now. So there's a conversation that is already tulikola mu research, investing in research to map out the role of the artists towards pushing for governance, good governance.
Kati mubano artists mwaba bagamba chiche babagendera mu basingira ku chiche bayinanga bo.
To basingira ku chiche bayina. Just fe tubagamba nti oyina okufocusinga. Try to focus, try to be a public good. Tubagamba nti yes, love matters, but there are issues also.
Love is good.
Like civic change, like democracy, like human rights, like corruption, like equality, gender equality. So what role do you play?
Because I said dobozi nga tuyimba ku mukwano, yimba ku kintu ekirala. Gender based violence.
Where the gender based violence. These are issues that are very important. Nenga to believing anti artist in a solution. Kubanga naye are reaching abantu. Kubanga tikwe kubamwa kafanani. The people who have stayed home, they are probably watching films or listening to music. Then some of them bagala okuwuliza conversations eziri mattering nga what role do I play as a citizen in pushing for change. Through the music wawuliza kayimba nga kali reflecting about the times agamba so I also have a role to play. And because they look up to these people. They look up to these people. So agamba musician ono gwenjagala waba ali reflecting at times, and this is what they believe in. That means that is the motive. So they have influence. That's the word.
Bada abayimbi banje abategerera abana. Ye muyimbi kyakolo no lingeri muyimbi jayambala mujjono jayambala jayogera muno jayogera. Like many people mirroring them.
But I think here also the composers value very, very important because wali abayimbi nga tebetegereranga bamuwabuwiru yimba nalutuulamu nga talina ati yewandiika. So kati bano ba composers atunulire ki trending, what is trending at the moment.
Producers. So chengeza kugamba nti art encompasses a number of art forms. There's dance, there's music, there's film, there's photography, there is visual arts, that's painting and art, there's craft, there's culinary food, that is food as well, there's graphics design. All these people buying a role, and they are part of us. Beyond just using their art to come up with corporate ads,
they are telling their stories through art.
How can they come up, communicating? Or in a graphics design, abantu abakola posters, for social change. As a graphics designer, what role can I play? All of us have a role to play. So in our time, as we are looking for survival, we should also focus on an issue and front that issue. That is what we are trying to say.
Okay, but do you also polish talent into omwana asobola okujja mulina training camps abaana baloze bayita mukoko?
Yes. So nga we nagambye nti we a hub. So meaning we a space that nurtures talent to focus on social issues. So nga we nagambye tulina to investing mu capacity building, tubayamba mu marketing, engeri gye be marketinga, tubayamba mu building their competences, copyright, protecting ebitone byabwe, tubayamba mu skills ezibayamba mu brand image, so byonna tubikola.
Oyogedde ku copyright, I want to go to that. It's kubanga ebadde ekutta omuliro wonna buli omu ayogera ku copyright. Do you think aba artists betulina ne Uganda understand the word copyright and how they can benefit from it? Kubanga aba Uganda Musicians Association Federation bo bagamba cheba pushinga, but do you think Ugandan artists understand the term copyright?
I think
because it is, I think to me, I believe it is a broad thing.
Yeah, so the challenge that most of our artists have is a big policy challenge. The government needs to put a lot of emphasis in protecting their creations, especially if we want to empower what is made from here. That's what we call Build Uganda by Uganda, But in a bid to build Uganda by Uganda, we need to also gazette protection for artists. So that comes from the policymakers. I think the laws are there, but they are not implemented. They are just on paper, But the artists are creating every day, and so their work needs to be paid for, because they also need to survive, But the problem is you find that an artist's creation is being played on these radios and TVs, and they're not getting it. And that's the challenge, because now when you say artists are like this, you play their music, you want it for free.
You have a YouTube channel,
you play their poetry shows, you play their poetry renditions, there's nothing they're getting out of it. You watch these films, you want to get them for free. And cheaply.
But I'm telling you,
so it is a policy problem, but it's also an implementation problem, which I think artists have to just strive. But we need to work with the legal sector.
But there is also a knowledge gap on the side of the artists. These artists really know what copyright is to them. Because bachimanyi toja kopa music wange, toja kosa music ne tutubitegeera. Tamanyi mbuno no playing oluyimba lwe ku radio yali badayina ka sente kaafunayo.
Anti enforcement is the
downloading
problem.
Music ojalaba how busy efunye sente mu music w'abaana.
Enforcement is the problem, because artists in their nature are artists. They are not legal people. Neither are they finance people. So they need to work with the teams. They need to work with the teams that help them protect them. So they need to work with the lawyers. They need to hire financial officers to help manage their finances. And these are the things we tell them. But there are challenges. So most of them work with the record labels. So the record label, like let's say Swang's Avenue, like let's say Bavubuka Foundation, can help these artists protect themselves, because for them they have more power and more resources to invest in the protection of their copyrights. But also they are exploitative, but we need to but they are there. So they are like hubs for artists. So they welcome an artist like, let's say, Rema or an artist like Kagai Peter, or an artist like Chinyenya Abudu, who's a dancer. They bring them, they sign them, and then for them they take on all the burden, you know. The only thing is that we need to push them to support the artists more in terms of investment in them. Like,
well, which is better for you? You has been in the music industry.
No, we need these record labels. We need them.
Is it going solo or really being under a record label?
Because it's like saying there's a hub that provides internet, provides all these things, and then for you said, do I go and get a space like this, a big space, and then I take on the costs of electricity and all this stuff, or do I put all those costs under one person and then they manage? For me, all I have to do is go into that space. Yeah. So I think the advantages of working with already organized institutions that will help mentor you and put you into, you know. And I think that's the way things work, especially in today's world. There's only too much you can do alone. You need a team, but you need also people who are professional to push you, you know. Yes, at some point, you can decide to go solo, you know, you come up with... There are very many ways of how an artist can market themselves without necessarily having to rely on their art form. They can actually be brand influencers, so they can get some money through brand deals. They can be social activists. They can come up with projects that are invested in for community change. They can... there are many ways. I think it's just limiting ourselves. You can never do something alone. At some point, you need a collective.
In fact, you want to go far, you have to
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
At some point, you need a collective.
How do you identify potential people you work with? Do you pay membership, or your organization does independent mapping? Ogamba tugenda genda machindye tunonye abavubuka baffe banga batano tubateke mu sente oba abantu babanoonya they come to you to catch you hub Africa ne tupaying over membership fee, and how is it done?
So our space is open to every young and everyone who identifies as young and artistic, you know. We don't have a membership model. All you have to do is go to our platform, look forward for our networking events. On Instagram, it's KQ Hub Africa. On Facebook, it's KQ Hub Africa. On Twitter, it's KQ Hub _KQ _Hub, you know. And we put our events there, we put our dialogues there so people can be able to actually interact with some of our activities. We have networking events that we bring together key stakeholders, you know, to meet. We want to make the artist look like someone people can take seriously, you know. So that's why we put together key stakeholder engagements where we bring people from the policymakers, people from government, people from the civil society to connect with these artists, have dialogues and conversations and see what role do they play, you know. So we welcome each and every one of you out there to look at our digital platforms and engage with some of the work that we are doing, and we are really open.
Is that like the green light? Just
so when you come to our community events, you register with us, but also on our website there is an option of getting yourself into our mailing list, and then we send you emails and WhatsApp. That's if you come and share your number, we share with you opportunities, you know, but also ways you can engage with our programs. You know, we have a lot of programs, like literally every month there's something. For instance, this month we'll be having a podcast recording at Media Challenge Initiative with the National Youth Council as well. Next month we're having a photo exhibition, we're having music show as well. So we invite you to just look at our platforms, social media, and engage with some of the work that we're doing. We are very big on Instagram. We have a website which is kqhubafrica.com. We also have a project website, the project that we are running, which is artforcivichange.kqhubafrica.com. And all these platforms where you can engage with the work that we're doing.
Kati podcast really again what is the topic of discussion and things like that.
So in this project, we are basically trying to use different ways of engaging the artists. So we have what we call the Civic Art Talk podcast, where we bring young people in civil society, but also young artists. They come together, nebayogera ku bintu ebimataringa. Conversations can range between issues around human rights and the role of the artist in pushing for a community or society that respects for human rights, corruption and the dangers of corruption, and why the artist's role in pushing for a change in that area, you know. But we also have dialogues, over conversations, over meetings. Of course, those are the kinds of things we do. The podcast can also be found on our website, so you can listen in on your commute from work to home, or from home to, or whenever you get time.
Audio visual or just
Kali audio. Tunakola visuals. Nainga kali audio, so you can listen it to any platform, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast content from. You'll always find the Civic Art Talk podcast.
Okay. Maybe do you have some brands you've worked with, the bigger ones? Brands are meaning artists. Are there some artists that are there that you're working with that are mentoring these young people? Because you're bringing young people who are young. So
yeah, so
how is that working out?
We work with artists like Babaluku, who is a very senior artist that is working within the hip hop communities. We work with comedians like Daniel O'Mara, like Anne Kansime. We work with poets like Kagai Peter, Mama Kampala, the recent radio host. Now she's completely focused on poetry. In dance, we work with dancers like Abdu Kinyenya of Batalo East. In fashion, we work with people like Gloria Ovamono behind Kampala Fashion Week. We work with IGC Fashion as well. In film, we work with Nana Kaga. We work with, Nana Kaga. We work with filmmakers like Abdu Kinyenya as well. So yeah, we are working with some big brands, but most of them are a bit underground, like not very visible, but they are really focused on the social issues. Like I told you, like social issues do not garner a lot of. Yes, so the people who are doing social issues may not be very popular.
Yes.
Because apparently what they are doing
is not
popular. Like love music, but they should be popular. So that's my role.
That's the irony of life.
Yes,
really.
that's my
it's
role.
them who should be popular.
Yes, they should be the ones.
And it
that
also
are popular.
speaks to the community you're trying to sensitize. Do
Yes.
you see the community you're trying to sensitize with?
Yes.
The community you're trying to sensitize, you're telling it there are social issues that are affecting us. Our country is declining by the day. For them, it's about love, heartbreak.
Yeah, it's a distraction. We are always finding ways to distract ourselves from the realities of life. That's why some people have become very distanced from politics. But politics is part of us. The issues that affect us all stem from the political question. So it's important for us to contribute to changing what that is. And we all have the power, because by virtue of the fact that you can cast a ballot, you have the power to change the question, the political question, But I don't believe in them and us. I believe in us, We bring together someone from the opposing, and then we have a conversation. A candid conversation.
That's where I was going. Aren't you guys partisan to some extent?
No,
how are you working with being partisan?
We are non-partisan because we believe that working with government, you can only make change when you're inside. You cannot make change when you're outside. And I like what Noban Mao does and what he believes in. It might look like it is our society is so much about them and us. But you can always infiltrate them, but with a different philosophy, and pretend that you're like them, but you're changing inside.
It's like you saying you enter a den of lions and you're a sheep and you're going to chase the lions.
You get the point.
Really?
So I believe that even when we believe that there is bad governance, even when we believe that there's what we call diplomacy, we have to do it in a diplomatic manner. And that means that we need to show that we believe in what, because they have the opposers have certain points that they've made that we can believe in. You know? They might be bad, but they're not completely bad. But it will only take us to be part of them. So our dialogues are non-partisan. We bring together everyone. We don't want any affiliation. We don't believe that we can cause that kind of, because they are the other opposer leaning, we shouldn't be with them, or because they are proposer leaning. No. The debate is the idea that all views can be put to table and everyone can be listened to regardless. And then from there, even when the other person cannot believe in the idea, they will agree to disagree, but at some point they will have a think about it and say, oh, really? So change tetwetaaga wano tetwetaaga divisive politics nti abo bali mu NUP netuba branding as no, they have issues that matter to them. It's the same thing with NRM as well. And even the NRM people see things that are wrong, and they believe that there has to be change. It's the same thing with UPC. So how do we create a coalition of debate among us, all of us? So I think even in our conversations, we need to get, that's why I like how media does it. Like you bring people from different, and you have a conversation. We all have a role to play. It's not them against us, So that's what we believe, and that's what art does. Art does not have NRM, UPC, FDC. No. Hey, all of us enjoy the music, all of us enjoy the film, and at the end of the day, we learn something. So that's the beauty and the power of art. It is more about bringing people together for a cause than dividing them.
Okay. Have we measured the impact of what we are doing as KQ Africa? When we have created some sort of impact here.
Thank you.
Have you measured some impact?
So over the years, because of the work that we've done, we've managed to change mindsets of certain communities. We've seen many parents come to us and say, because of the things you believe in, I'd like you to work with my son and mentor them, because this is what they believe in. They believe in, they're a poet, they're a musician, and they're always thinking about opportunities where they can connect with different key stakeholders to build their brand. So that is the impact we're creating. The other impact is we are seeing more artists thinking about themselves as civic and governance propagators, So they are putting themselves, they are coming up with issues, music or poetry performances or dance performances, films that reflect the times, the civic issues of the time. Yes, because we are saying you as an artist, you have the power to change, communities on how communities think. Because if we consume your product or your music or your poetry or your fashion or your films or your photography, then you have the power to change how people think. So that has been one of the impact we've had. We've had a lot of young artists come out from our spaces, much more reflective of their brand, much more reflective of how people perceive them, So they're not consuming drugs, because we told them you need to have a balance between what you want to be, vis-a-vis consumption of drugs. So these are things we are changing, and this is the impact we are creating within the community. We are also reaching a number of places, so we're not just in Central Region. We have partnerships with local community art centers in places like Soroti, in places like Busia, in places like Iganga, in places like Mbarara, Fort Portal. We are working with existing spaces like Nkore Place in Mbarara, We're working with Elephant Commons in Gulu. And all these partners are helping us reach a wider audience, you know. And this is, for us, what we believe. Impact is spread. Impact is not in just Central. So we're not centered here. Today, you're going to see me in Barara, and I'm there for like a week. Tomorrow, you're going to see me in Iganga, and I'm there for like a week. And we are always trying to, you know, we are actually building hubs. We are looking for investment to build smaller KQ hubs in different areas. We want to build community centers which empower community libraries, community art centers, art galleries and all this. This is the future plan of KQ Hub. You know, we want to be the first. We want to be the first movers of community theaters in Uganda. Ngogenda Embarara nosangayo community theater ngafa bagiteekayo. Nengera twakola in consortium with other partners within the sector. Twagala kubeera research waffe improving the policy, because we work with the Ministry of Gender and Labour and Social Development. For instance, when COVID-19 hit, people were thinking about how COVID-19 has hit the business sector, but they were not thinking about how it has impacted the creative sector. So our research helped government put together an intervention where they were providing small investment grants to artists. So that's the impact that we are doing.
Before nga tetunatunula ku challenges ze bafesinze nga tumaliriza waliwo questions ku fundraising omukulu abuuza, how has it been like to raise resources for his organization in the event of scarcity of funds? How does he manage running the organization activities, and has he thought of a creative view of fundraising, especially from within rather than depending on foreign donors?
Foreign donors, thank you. So we are very happy to have partners. We don't look at them as donors or whatever. We believe that they are development partners. The issues that we are trying to front matter to them. So they come on board and say, can we work? You know, we have, I've talked about the local partners we work with, but we also have international partners. We have, earlier in the conversation, I said we work with the British Council, the Open Society Foundations, the European Union, the Ford Foundation, the Goethe Institute here, Alliance Française, the French Embassy. All these are partners who have resources and they're willing to invest, and they also understand the power and the role. But sometimes they come with the vested interests, and so it becomes problematic. Plus, this funding is not sustainable. So how are we working on the sustainability of our work? So like I said, we want to invest in community theater productions or community theater centers where people can pay a fee to come and watch a theater production. So that money can go back. But also we have a consultancy arm where we work with the organizations and institutions that want to support, that want to put together productions, let's say events. So we are also an event consultancy firm. So we work with like you and women, we put together production, you know. We work with, like recently we were working with the FME Business School from Netherlands, and they were putting together what you call a food startup pitch, and they were looking for an organization that has a wider reach among us young people. So they reached out to us, we put together the FME food startup pitch, and the winner went away with 1,000 US dollars, but there were other winners who went away with 500 US dollars, 250, you know, in cash. So this is the kind, so we are also lobbying for a direct investment, but also a sustainable investment. A sustainable investment. In fact, right now, together with my other colleagues, we are starting what we call the Culture Impact Fund, where we want to get investment that we put directly into small holding, crafts, programs, spaces, you know. So this fund is going to be like a loan facility, because we realize that these artists are not bankable. Banks don't want to work with artists because they don't have tangible return in terms of paying back. So for us, we're starting what we call an impact investment fund, which is called the Culture Impact Fund, that is going to invest directly in spaces invest directly in craft makers, invest directly in musicians. As long as you want to do a video or a film, and the film is social, impactful, it has returns in the future, you pay back the loan slowly. That's what we are trying to do.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have a contract where you can repay. But also we will have a facility which is just grants. You utilize the fund as long as you can show accountability of how you use the funds. So it's called the Culture Impact Fund. For those of you out there who are looking for investment in your culture projects, go to cultureimpactfund.org or cultureimpactfund.com. You know, we're still trying to build the website. So it will either be .org or .com after this month. And check out, there will be already a call there. You know, we're working with Abudu Kinyenya, who's from Batalo Dance East. And also we are working with Mambia Senyonga, who's with Act Now for Climate Action. Yes. So these are the ways we are thinking. But I like the question, which is development partners or foreign development partners may not be the solution for the problem that we have now.
Money from
So how do we make sure? So the problem is the work that we do, government is not interested. You know, or if they're interested, they haven't gazetted a fund for that.
Yes.
You know. So development partners already have budgets for this. But for us, when we're working with development partners, we tell them, these are the issues we want to focus on. And we understand the communities that we work in. So you're not going to decide or determine how we work. So they provide flexible funding. And they say, okay, you are the experts of these solutions. You're the people who understand the grassroots. Let's work with you. For us as an organization, we're very strategic in who we work with. We are not looking for people who are vested interests to change things in a way they feel should. Because we are the ones who know what change we want. So we are always telling our development partners that this is how we want to work, you know. But also, like I said, we have a so even if they are away, we can still be able to sustain ourselves.
Sustainability plan.
We have a sustainability plan, which is through events consultancy. We get organizations that work. Like, let's say you people might want to do a nice community event with, let's say, journalists. You might commission us to help you put together that kind of event, where we invite key stakeholders in civil society, journalism, and then you have a nice branch. So we help you put together the elements of, like, how do you communicate, how do you reach which kind of spaces would be good, you know. So those are some sustainable. But in the future, we have a plan to put together community theater centers in different parts, and people pay to go and watch these shows, films, cinemas.
In fact, you will even be able to identify people from those communities.
Yes.
There are people who are talented, and because they are in rural areas, you will never
There
get to
are
see
no
what
opportunity,
they,
yes,
Toli
to
mulaba
showcasing
ko-
a talent
toli
there,
about-
or
yes.
developing a
But
talent.
imagine if we were to get the next chameleon from Mbarara.
Yes.
We get the next Palazzo from somewhere. You know,
Yes.
that would be something very
So
important.
because we believe that these are small centers of imagination and small centers of impact. Even though we have centered impact, or we've believed, all of us are leaving our villages and coming to Kampala.
Yeah.
Kampala has become so small for us.
Kituufu,
Because
omujuzo
we don't,
mungi.
the problem tewali facilities, facilities zonna zetwetaaga okubeera empowered, but also to be skilled, or okujja Kampala, because that's where the best universities are, that's where the theaters are.
National Theatre, everyone, it's true.
Naye ffe twagala ku decentralizing that, nti tutwale community
Until you
theaters
don't need
eno.
to come to Kampala.
No, there are studios, so next studio, so we have.
You can record your song from
We want to
wherever.
do a studio fund as well, where we invest in studios to be able to churn in more artists. Our future is everyone should be an artist. Or every artist should
Government
feel
yatandika gyeri studio.
Studios.
Gyeri tezakomawo.
Product ya agamba mbono yayita government okutuuka.
Question esemba agamba most youths think that school and art don't mix. As such, those with a bit of talent drop out of schools. How has his organization helped to fight this mindset?
most youth.
Think that school and art don't mix. as such, those with a bit of talent drop out of schools. Agamba why can come senior phones nyimbe. How has his organization helped to fight this mindset?
Yeah, so there are many reasons why people drop out of school. Some are financial, we don't realize. But we think that everyone that dropped out because they didn't want to study.
Like,
others?
Just to cut you short, I was watching the interview ya Aryan Skin and this young boy katambula nako. Bakaitania. Aha. Ngakagamba nze sagala kusoma njagala sente. Now you see the mindset.
I get what you're saying. So let me first talk about why people drop out of school. People drop out of school because of very many reasons. Sometimes it's because the parents may not have the financial muscle to push them further. So they opt for other ways of how they can engage themselves to earn a living. You know, others drop out because of the talent. The talent outweighs the education, the curriculum and all that. You know, and all these people need room to breathe. So we cannot stifle them and say, wava musomero walito yagala nze wembana wava musomero nganjaga kupera fashion designer. Then there's a need there. So what the education system should be doing is creating more institutions that nurture these skills, as opposed to saying, but also change the perception. So if we have many centers that nurture, let's say, fashion, that nurture, let's say, music, that nurture, let's say, film production, you know, most people would like to go to these schools. If the universities had courses that really focus on nurturing or mentoring the next generation of skilled workforce, those people who do things of the hands, people who do things that are talent-driven, you know. Parents would appreciate that. So that's the first thing. Nti omuntu are dropping out of school because of very many reasons rather. So the siva musomero because nze nali njagala just dropping out ebyo kusomera nda curriculum nayo eri outdated je tuliko banaye tukirize tugane.
Kusoma tenisi very authority.
Yes.
By the way, when you look at someone is an artist, yamanyinga yetegira amanyinze wano we.
I'll tell you my brothers and sisters, one thing you should know is that the education system is not the best that we have here. Okay? There are many graduates that I have seen. Many. There are people who come to our offices. They've studied, they have degrees and what. But when you look at their applications, when you look at their proposals, when you look at the way they present themselves, it is not, someone who's educated, you know. So that means there's a very big gap in the education sector that needs to be improved. So we cannot be blaming people for dropping out to focus on their skill set, because it's also important.
Yes.
And there is money in it. Yes. So we should stop the perception that because someone has left and now they are focusing on the skill. Instead, we should embrace them and bring them and show them the way or the direction and say, now, you've said you've dropped out because you want to focus on music. How about we enroll you into a music institution?
Exactly.
So that you can earn skills in marketing, in
and
that's what we need to do. The government should actually allocate grants and say, those who feel the education system, they are more skilled, we are put together scholarships for this. This is what happens in other places where I've been to. You know, there are institutions that are dedicated to enhancing the skills of young people who feel they don't want to be lawyers. They don't want to be... All of us, like I said when I was beginning, will not be doctors. Because we need a musician as much as we need a doctor. We need a poet as much as we need a filmmaker as much as we need a lawyer or an engineer. You know? So this thinking, I've told you, perception needs to change.
Mindset. One against. By the way, there are people who have degrees and they are broke as hell.
You get a point. So the perception, abantu abalina degrees oba basoma ne bafuna lawyer nze ndabe balooya nga bali beshinga ku street nenga ate omusajja is an artist, is traveling, is having exchanges, is having residencies, is contributing to social change. Me, I told people it's easy to identify people by who they are, maybe because of the way they present themselves. But the most corrupt people are people who come in suits. Hey, I think they are killing more people than this person who. So to them, your grandma, your guy, aliwati movie.
Unagamba about drug abusers in the art industry, especially amongst young people. What has his organization done to solve such a vice?
Yes, so we have programs where we talk to young minds, because young minds can easily be swayed, you know, because it's a very vulnerable stage in life, you know. True. It's the stage where you're trying to find yourself. In a bid to find yourself, you're making sense of what life is, you know. Depression kicks in. So if you don't have things that, so we are putting together skill programs where they can deviate away from anything. You know, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So if minds are busy, if people have things to do, if people are gainfully, you know, skilled somehow, they will go away from, you know, getting into bad groups and all that. So we have programs in our organization that engage artists and young minds to be able to focus on the most important thing, building the nation, as opposed to focusing on things that will divert them from that, you know. Yeah, so that's what our organization is doing. We have developed programs, and like I said, we now want to start putting together community theaters where young minds can go there, interact with art, learn some skills and all that. Those are the programs we want to build, you know. So that's the strategic plan. In our strategic plan for 2023 to 2025. The next 5 years, we should have community theaters in every region in Uganda. We should have participatory programs that engage young minds to think about themselves as civic and social leaders. We want to develop an exchange program with residences. For instance, we work with Okere City in Otuke, which is like a reimagination of what we call Ojok. Yes, Ojok Okero. So we work with him to build a residency program where we take artists to see what it looks like developing not just the city, but developing also rural areas so that they you know.
Ojok is doing something about creating Okere City.
Okere City. So he's saying, I'll go back to my village and I'll make sure that my village is a comfortable place. So I don't have to go to Kampala to experience theater, to experience music, to experience everything. So he's created everything there. And that is what we all need to think. Like, we can empower our communities to be self-sustaining without necessarily having to rely on going anywhere. We can create cities in rural areas.
Exactly. Shout outs to Okere City. He's doing a tremendous job. And Yoshia Butter is working miracles. I
use shea butter from Okere City. We are based, our offices are in Bugolobi, Luthuli Avenue, off at Venture Labs Africa. So that's where our offices are. We have social media platforms where you can find all our projects. We have a website which is kqhubafrica.com. You can find all the projects that we're doing. We have on kqhubafrica.com, you can just go up there. There's a sign of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just click on any of those and you'll find us and subscribe to the work that we're doing. We are also very interested in working with the media, and it's always a great pleasure to be here and speaking to communities. Okwogerako n'abavubuka abali wabwereyo ne bategeera nti ebitone byabwe balina obitwala seriously for civic change, because we need to change the perception of people. Bwe tuba twetaaga change enkulaakulana, tulina naffe contributing mu ngeri yonna gye tusobola. Oba oli musician, genda oyimbe ennyimba ezipushing ekyo. Oba poet, genda okole ekyo. Oba journalist, nawe kologo oba lawyer kologo. So all of us are building the nation. Mwebale nnyo okubeera wano ku Digitalk alternative project eno ennungi etuleetera amawulire amalungi, etuleetera some of the key activists okutwogera naffe. Neyanziza nnyo okumpa platform eno okwogera ku batuuze abali wabweru. Thank you so much for everyone who has listened in, and as usual the arts can be a tool for social and civic change, and this is the work that we do at KQ Hub Africa. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Mr. Wabwire. It was a privilege and pleasure having you. You can come back anytime. Thank you so much to our viewers who keep on watching. Today at exactly 11 a.m. we have Tekachi with Council Kato Tumusime. Do not miss that particular discussion. It is coming up in just an hour from now, so please do tune in. My name is Edgar. I was with Farida, Mr. Wabwire, and of course we're talking about the role of art in creating good governance, especially building Uganda to be one of the best countries in the world, which is, by the way, Uganda is one of the best countries if you've traveled around the world. So guys, thank you so much. I'll see you in an hour from now, exactly 11 a.m. Tekachi will be there. And from the entire Digitalk team, thank you so much. Patience on camera, Ted, Mr. Mukose and Abdu, thank you so much for each and everything. See you tomorrow at exactly 8 a.m. Do not miss. That will be the Mighty Drive with the Ladies Woman Crush Wednesday. Good morning, Uganda.
The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.